And we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our third segment, which is going to be talking about the Twins' recent run and just overall the AL Central in general. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about that, and let's get straight into it. So, with the Twins, you have a team that is currently on a 15-2 run. 15-2. They are 9-1 in their last 10, winning streak of 1. They are 9-7 at home, 11-7 on the road. Haven't been great against teams over 500, but have been doing really good this recent run. And the thing about the Twins is they're second in the AL Central. I had them projected to be the best team in the AL Central, like a lot of people did. I really thought no other team had a chance, but obviously that was before the Guardians went Super Saiyan and just insane. So, they've been really, really good and just doing a really great job. So, I think with the Twins, one of the big question marks was just like in general, what's going on with them? I mean, kind of not a question mark, just kind of just a question. What's going on with this team? I mean, they have been doing really, really bad this season. They were in last place of the AL Central at one point. They were very close to the White Sox, which was not a good thing. You don't want to be ever close to the White Sox ever at all. Close to the White Sox means you're doing something bad because they're the real bad team. I mean, the White Sox, there's bad and there's White Sox bad. So I think with the Twins and just how their season was going, it was a real shocker because they did really, really well last season. They finally had won a playoff series and a playoff game. They waited to the second round, won a second round playoff game against the Astros, a team that is kind of their rival, I guess. You know, they're two really good competitive AL teams. Carlos Correa also adds to that rivalry. I guess that's another dimension of it. So I think that with the Twins right now, with how they've been doing, it's really surprising and just really exciting. As a guy who loves this Twins team, thinks they're really good, I'm really happy. I think one of the big problems with the Twins was just overall underperformance. I think a lot of the players they did have were just not preparing for this season well. We're not playing well in general. So I think them finally coming back and doing really well, I'm very excited about. You look at this Twins team, you look at the leaders. You had Royce Lewis, who got hurt the first game of the season, which was a big blow. You had Byron Buxton being hurt now, Carlos Correa, who got hurt, but is, of course, back now. So I apologize if there's noise from the ceiling. I don't know what that is. Someone upstairs is doing some things, I guess. But with the Twins, it's just they had so much underperformance. But you look at how well everyone was doing. They also had injuries, as I said. Ryan Jeffers has been doing really well as the catcher, just having a really great season. One of their best hitters, 167 WRC plus, which is just insane. A WAR of 1.5 in 120 at bats. Trevor Larnach has been doing really well, 166. Max Kepler, Carlos Correa, of course. Jose Miranda, who got off to a really rough start, brought it back up with a 124. Weighted runs created plus. Eduardo Julian, 123. Willie Castro, 121. Byron Buxton was kind of one of the big underperformances. He had exactly league average at 99, so 100's league average, so basically exactly. So he was doing mediocre. But the thing about Buxton is, he plays one of the best defensive center fields in all of the league. The only problem is he's going to get hurt at some point, and he just was put on the 15-day IL. So that did come true, unfortunately, for Buxton. I mean, I could do a whole segment on Buxton's lost potential, but if Buxton could just stay healthy for a season, I mean, man, oh man, this guy would be a beast in an MVP running. So really hoping that he can finally stay healthy for one season while playing center field. Obviously, he was healthy last year, but was the full-time DH, which was one of the reasons he was fully healthy, because they were just making him hit. They weren't having him field. They weren't having him run the bases, play defense. So I think with this team right now, you look at the hitting, you look at how good this core is, you look at how much young players they have. I mean, it's really, really incredible. So again, catcher, Ryan Jeffers. At first base, you have probably Eduardo Julian, really good player. Carlos Santana doing really well there. Royce Lewis, before he got hurt, was really doing great. Carlos Correa, of course, is insane. Brooks Lee is going to come up soon, I think. I expected him to be on the opening day roster. Obviously, hasn't been doing the greatest in AAA either. So we'll be seeing when he gets called up, and we'll be seeing what does happen with him. So, if I'm a Twins fan, I'm really excited about this team. And I think one of the big problems with their underperformance before in the season was just the injuries. I mean, with Carlos Correa being hurt, with Royce Lewis being hurt, you had guys like Willie Castro and Kyle Farmer getting legitimate at-bats every day for this team, getting real at-bats and getting real opportunities for this team. And if you're trying to compete, you're trying to win a championship, trying to win a division, it's just not the type of players you want to have and not the type of guys you want batting for your team. I mean, just really, again, not who you want to see. So if I'm a Twins fan, I'm excited about what's going on now. Not just the hitting staff as well. I haven't even mentioned the pitching staff. And man, the pitching staff has been really, really impressive. A lot of people were looking at them kind of crazy when they let Sonny Gray walk kind of for nothing and just out of the blue, and really didn't make an opportunity at all to kind of get him back. So I think the reason they're forgetting is the Twins have so much young pitching depth. I mean, you look at the guys right now: Louis Varland, Simeon Wood Richardson, Bailey Ober, Chris Paddock, Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez. A lot of those guys have been hurt, haven't been ready to go up to the major leagues, and you're seeing now how well they can impact games and how well they are doing. Pablo Lopez, who has turned into the ace of the staff now, quote unquote, with Sonny Gray gone, hasn't been doing the greatest. Does have a 4.30 ERA on the season, but at the same time, his expected ERA is much lower than that. It is 2.73. His FIP is lower. His expected FIP is lower. He has solid WAR. He's been doing better in the recent start. So he was probably getting a little unlucky, and that was probably contributing to his higher than normal ERA that I don't think really is up to the standards of a pitcher as good as a Pablo Lopez, a guy who is a really significant player in this league and just a really good pitcher. So I think you have to look at the other guys as well now for this Twins pitching staff. You look at, first of all, a Joe Ryan, who has a 3.54 ERA. Someone who came over in a trade a few years ago from Tampa Bay for Nelson Cruz, a guy who was a big part of this Twins team and has done so well since coming over. Has been a real big part of this pitching staff. 2.7 expected ERA. That I was looking at Pablo Lopez. 3.54 ERA for Joe Ryan. Has 40 innings pitched on the year, the most on the team. He has a 3.54 ERA, 2.44 expected ERA. So even though his ERA is really good, and is just at a really good number, it still could be lower than usual. He is getting a little bit unlucky, you could say. So I think overall Joe Ryan's doing really well and is having a great season. That's another big part of this pitching staff. Chris Paddock, who came back from injury, isn't doing the best, but isn't doing that bad. It's kind of been heating up a little bit. 4.78 ERA in the season. Bailey Ober, 4.65. But one of the big guys I wanted to talk about here was Simeon Woods Richardson. He has made 4 starts, has a 1.74 ERA in the season now. Has an expected ERA of 3.71, but a FIP of 1.84. So the peripheral stats, the ones that show he may be getting a little unlucky or lucky, kind of mixed on what exactly is going on with Richardson and how good of a pitcher he is. So I still think he's a really solid pitcher. I think that there's a lot of potential there. Again, I'm a Mets fan. I watched Richardson coming up through the Mets organization before he got traded to Toronto and for Marcus Stroman. So I thought he was a really good pitcher. I think he has a lot of good stuff. And he also pitched yesterday, or recently actually, did really, really well, had a good start with the Twins there, had some good pitching, some good stuff overall. So I think if you're a Twins fan, you're just really excited about what this guy can bring and just what there is to see. I mean, he pitched against the Mariners yesterday, went 6 innings pitched, giving up 1 hit, no earned runs, a walk, and 8 strikeouts, a 1.74 ERA in the season, as I said. So you look at these start, you see 6 innings of 1 hit against a team like the Mariners, whose offense really is nothing to joke about. I mean, they have a lot of great players there. Of course, you have Julio Rodriguez, Josh Rojas been doing really well this season. Jorge Polanco, hasn't been great, but might have been looking for some revenge against his former team, the one that traded him this offseason. Mitch Haniger's a solid player. Kyle Raleigh's doing really well. So doing this against a really solid hitting core in the Mariners is something that is very positive for the Twins and just their pitching staff, and just Simeon Woods as well. I think this guy is going to be a big part of the Twins pitching staff going forward within the seasons, and just is going to be a really, really good pitcher and someone that is a big part of this future here in the Twin Cities. I think his fastball is really good. I think he has a good amount of off-speed pitches that complement the fastball well. So overall, I think Richardson is a really good pitcher for this Twins team. I think that he brings a lot of skill set and just depth to this rotation that they didn't have last year because they're having a younger pitcher like him. The Twins now are second in the AL Central, creeping up there among the Guardians, who have done so well this season. If I'm a Twins fan, I'd be really excited about what's going on, and I'd be really hopeful that this team can indeed take first place back and be one of the best teams in the AL again. I still have them winning the Central. I still think they will. I think that their hitting core is going to get better. I think a lot of their pitchers are going to find their groove, mainly Pablo Lopez, and just settle down in the second half of the season and do really solid. So if I'm a Twins fan, I'd be very excited about where this team is going and just what's going on in general with them. So, yeah, definitely happy with what's going on here. And, again, as a guy who is a big fan of this Twins team, thinks they're going to be really, really good, I'm very hopeful, and I'm excited to watch them in the future and excited to watch their young core and all the young players go to work. So, very hopeful and just overall excited to watch this Twins team and watch what they can do in the future and in this season. So that is the end of our third segment here, talking about the Minnesota Twins and what is going on with their season so far and the recent run they've been on, how they've come back from being really bad at the start of the season to now doing really well. Going into our fourth and final segment, which is going to be talking about the best off-season signing. There was a poll that went out on MLB.com from executives, polling executives, my apologies, about what was the best offseason signing of this year. I didn't want to give my 2 cents on it and just talk about it. I thought it was something interesting. So, going over that and talking about over the